Next question. Propylene contains dash sigma and dash pi bonds. Propylene. What is the formula of propylene? It's a alkene, right? CnH2n C3S6. What is the formula of propylene? C3S6, and the structure. This is the propylene formula, right? In this one, how many sigma bonds and how many pi bonds? Double bond means one sigma bond and one pi bond, right? Each hydrogen one sigma bond, right? Here how many hydrogens? 6 hydrogens. That's why there is 6 sigma bonds with respect to hydrogen. And also here carbon double bond. Double bond means one sigma bond. Here carbon single bond means that is compulsory sigma bond. Total how many sigma bonds? 8 sigma bonds. And pi bonds, only one pi bond. So then the right answer is 8 and 1. 8 sigma bonds and 1 pi bond, right? Next one. The hybridization of first and second carbon atoms in propadiene. Propadiene, what is the structure of propadiene? Propadiene. This is the structure of propadiene, right? 1, 2, 3. Numbering. Carbon. This carbon, sp2 hybridized around the carbon 3 sigma bonds, 2 plus 1, 3. Around this carbon atom 2 sigma bonds, 1 plus 1, 2 sigma bonds, so sp. So first carbon sp2, second carbon sp hybridized. So the right answer is second option. Propadiene. This is the structure of propadiene. The type of hybridization of carbon atoms. Numbered second and third, 2 and 3 in CH2 double bond, CH single bond, CH double bond, CH2, right? CH2 double bond, CH single bond, CH double bond, CH2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Carbon numbering, right? Here this carbon, which hybridization this carbon? sp2, right? Why sp2? Around the carbon 3 sigma bonds, so sp2. This carbon also sp2, around the carbon 3 sigma bonds, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3. This one 1 sigma bond, hydrogen 1 sigma bond, here in double bond 1 sigma bond, total 3 sigma bonds, sp2. Third carbon also 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 sigma bonds, sp2. So third carbon sp2, second carbon also sp2. So then the right answer is all the carbons have sp2. This is butadiene. All the carbons are sp2 hybridized. Same hybridization, all the carbons. So then the right answer is sp2, second option. Clear? Next one. The C bond H bond length order in hydrocarbons in which the hybridization of carbon is sp3 or sp2 or sp. Already in the previous question we have discussed already the size of hybrid orbitals. Size of hybrid orbitals sp3 greater than sp2 greater than sp. Size of hybrid orbitals. That's why sp3 carbon and hydrogen, sp3 carbon and hydrogen s orbital, right? Here more bond length. Next sp2s, sp2 carbon and hydrogen. Next sp carbon and hydrogen s orbital, right? So where bond length more? sp3 carbon and hydrogen, this bond length more because of size of hybrid orbitals sp3 greater than sp2 greater than sp, right? So here bond length more, sp3 carbon and hydrogen s orbital, bond length more. So then the right choice is third option. Clear? Next one. This is the easy question. Bond length order is number of bonds increases between the carbon atoms, then bond length decreases, right? So single bond C bond length more than double bond C, and where bond length is very less, triple bond carbon atoms, right? So this is the right one. C single bond C greater than C double bond C greater than. Then the right option is C single bond C greater than C double bond C greater than C triple bond C. Triple bond carbon atoms bond length less, single bond carbon atoms between two carbon atoms single bond more bond length, right? Then the right option is first option. Clear? Next question. The number of tertiary carbon atoms in tertiary butyl alcohol. Number of tertiary carbon atoms in tertiary butyl alcohol. What is the structure of tertiary butyl alcohol? The structure of tertiary butyl alcohol. This is tertiary butyl group, right? Alcohol means OH, functional group. Tertiary butyl alcohol. First of all, what is tertiary carbon? Carbon attached to three different carbon atoms. Then sp3. Then tertiary carbon atom. This carbon attached to three carbons, right? 1, 2, 3. Hence, this is tertiary carbon atom. And this carbon, primary carbon atom. Why? Because attached to only one carbon atom. This is also primary carbon atom. This is also primary carbon atom. This is tertiary carbon atom because bonded to three different carbon atoms. Hence, the right answer is third option because only one tertiary carbon atom is there in tertiary butyl alcohol. Okay. Next one. Which of the following compounds have only one type of carbon atoms? One type of carbon atoms. Just now we discussed this is butadiene, right? Here each carbon sp2 hybridized. This one also sp2 hybridized. This one also sp2 hybridized. This one also sp2. Because check the number of sigma bonds around the carbon atom. 1 plus 2, 3 sigma bonds. This one 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 sigma bonds. 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 sigma bonds. 2 plus 1, 3 sigma bonds. All carbons are sp2 hybridized, right? Next, here this carbon sp hybridized, right? Why? Because around this carbon atom 2 sigma bonds. 1 plus 1, 2 sigma bonds sp. This carbon atom 1 plus 1, 2 sigma bonds sp. 1 plus 1, 2 sigma bonds sp. This carbon also sp hybridized. All carbon atoms are sp hybridized, right? Here all are, this is alkane, right? All carbon atoms are C single bond C carbon atoms. That's why sp3 hybridized. All carbons are sp3, 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 sp3. Then the right answer is all. In all the compounds, all the carbon atoms are same hybridized carbon atoms, right? Hence, the right answer is all of this. Okay. Carbon-carbon bond length is same in. Already we discussed this type of question. Benzene. In benzene, all carbons are same and bond lengths, all C bond C bond lengths are same. Why all C bond C bond lengths are same? Already we discussed, benzene exists in two resonating structures. Each carbon bond is partial double bond character. That's why all bond lengths are same. Then the right answer is benzene. Already we discussed the same type of question in the previous questions, right? Next one. See this question. Number of primary, secondary, tertiary and neocarbons in the following compound respectively. Primary, secondary, tertiary and also what? Neocarbons in the following compounds, right? Here quaternary, right? Quaternary. Look at here. Primary carbon means one carbon bonded to only one carbon atom, that is primary. Bonded to two carbon atoms, secondary. Bonded to three carbon atoms, tertiary. Bonded to four carbon atoms, quaternary, right? Here this is the molecule given. Actually this methyl, here methyl and this methyl. Mistakenly printed, right? Now If you go with this carbon atom, you know that carbon atom is primary carbon atom, right? Why primary carbon atom? Because this carbon only bonded to one carbon atom, so it's a primary carbon. This is also primary carbon, right? Primary, because this carbon only bonded to one carbon atom. This one also primary, bonded to one carbon atom. This is also primary, bonded to one carbon atom. And also see this carbon also primary carbon atom. Why primary carbon atom? Bonded to only one carbon atom, right? Next one, see this one secondary carbon atom, right? Because bonded to two carbon atoms, 1 plus 1, 2 carbon atoms, secondary. And this one tertiary, right? Why tertiary? Because this carbon bonded to three carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3, tertiary. And finally this one, it's a quaternary, right? Quaternary, because bonded to four carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 carbon atoms. So finally primary carbon atoms, how many primary carbon atoms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 primary carbon atoms. Secondary 1, tertiary 1, quaternary 1. Then the right answer is second option. Got it? Next one, the number of tertiary carbons and quaternary hydrogens in neopentane respectively are. First of all, for doing this sum, we should know the structure of neopentane. What is the structure of neopentane? This is the structure of neopentane, right? In neopentane, how many tertiary carbon atoms? Number of tertiary. Tertiary means carbon bonded to three other carbon atoms, tertiary. But this carbon, this carbon is primary carbon, right? Why? Because bonded to only one carbon. This is also primary. This carbon quaternary. There is no tertiary carbon atoms. Tertiary carbon atoms 0. Quaternary carbon atom 1. But asking tertiary carbon atoms and quaternary hydrogen atoms. Quaternary carbon 1, but quaternary hydrogen atoms 0. Right? So finally tertiary carbon atoms, there is no tertiary carbon. That's why tertiary carbon atoms 0. But quaternary carbons 1, but the question is quaternary hydrogens. There is no quaternary hydrogen. So then the right answer is 0 and 0. Quaternary tertiary carbon atoms 0, quaternary hydrogens 0, but quaternary carbon 1. But asking question quaternary hydrogens. So quaternary hydrogens also 0. So the right answer is fourth option. Got it? This is question. Matching question. List 1 and list 2. Neopentane. Just now we discussed neopentane. The neopentane structure. This is the structure of neopentane, right? Neopentane. In neopentane, there are 4 primary carbon atoms and 1 quaternary carbon atom. Which one is match? In neopentane, primary and quaternary carbons. In neopentane, primary and quaternary. A match with 3. A match with 3. Isobutane. What is the structure of isobutane? You know isobutyl group? This is isobutyl group, right? Isobutane means add hydrogen. This is isobutane. In isobutane, this is primary, and this is tertiary. Primary carbon atoms and also what? Tertiary carbon atoms. In isobutane, primary and tertiary carbon atom. This is isobutane. Primary, tertiary. Primary and tertiary. Cyclohexane. Picture of cyclohexane. This is cyclohexane, right? Each carbon, 2 hydrogens are there, right? Here hydrogen, right? Hydrogen, right? Each carbon bonded to 2 carbon atoms, right? Each carbon bonded to 2 carbon atoms. This carbon This carbon bonded to 2 carbon atoms. This carbon also bonded to 2 carbon atoms. This carbon also bonded to 2 carbon atoms. Each carbon atoms bonded to 2 carbon atoms. That's why each carbon secondary, only secondary. In cyclohexane, only secondary carbon atoms are there. Next, isopentane. What is the form structure of isopentane? Isopentane. This is the structure of isopentane, right? This is the structure of isopentane. Isopentane. Here, what type of carbon atoms in isopentane? Here, primary. This is primary, right? This is secondary. This is tertiary. This one primary, primary. So primary carbon is there, secondary carbon is there, tertiary carbon is there. In cyclohexane, in isopentane, primary, secondary, tertiary carbon atoms are there. In cyclohexane, all secondary carbon atoms. So A3, this one eliminate. B1, A3, B1, C2. So the right answer is third option. Clear? Easy question only, finding hybridization. Okay.